Hey, welcome back to another episode of Mixing a Prog Album Live, where we are still working on AfterWinter's second album, Boundless. Today is episode, almost said 30, 29. We're almost to 30. We're not quite there yet. Today is episode 29, and we are continuing work on track number 8, The Silver Lining. Hopefully, we will be able to get a first draft done on this today. Not sure. Today is going to have to be a little bit of a shorter one. I only had a small window today to be able to stream, so we're going to try and get as much done as possible. Hey, if you're one of our new subscribers, I want to send out a special thank you to you for subscribing to this channel. We really, really appreciate the support. We got 2 more just since yesterday, so if you are one of those, again, big thank you. We really, really appreciate that. And of course, if you're a longtime subscriber, we really, really appreciate you too. We've been a band for, close to 6 years now. So to have the kind of support we have in a fairly short amount of time means the world to us. We can't thank you guys enough. Thank you. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. We got plenty more episodes where this is coming from. So if you like what you're seeing and if you like the music, what you're hearing, then maybe worth doing a thing. Let's take a look at the session today that we are checking out. Yes, of course, we are still here in The Silver Lining, where we were getting ready to start volume detail for the pianos. So we need to start by unmuting all the stuff in the song. We had muted so that we could pay special attention to the bass layer, but now that we're starting back into the instruments, getting everything else back in there, we want everything back in. I think I'm going to leave the vocals out for now, for just a little while longer. I want to hear some of the choruses, particularly without the vocals, so that we can make sure those are getting layered right. Okay, so I want to start by paying attention to the pianos specifically. We only have a couple of things to work on. I want to make sure that the little piano blurb near the second chorus is good. That's the only thing that's literally piano in this. And then we got a couple of harpsichord things we need to check out in all the choruses. So let's take a listen to that funny little section where we all do a little thing real fast here and make sure the piano is in appropriate volume. Oh. What's with the system overloads, computer? Come on now. Let me hear that one more time. It does maybe seem just a hair louder than the things around it. Let's try going down a decibel. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so now let's pay special attention to the choruses, particularly the harpsichord, keeping in mind that the harpsichord sounds a lot like the 12 strings. They are kind of meant to blend, and both of them are kind of providing the same thing for the chorus. Yes, okay, so I'm good with the harpsichord. I do think, I don't mind jumping ahead just a hair here. I do think that the low strings and high strings are a little bit loud in that chorus, and I'm quite sure they will be in the other choruses too. So let's bring those down a little bit more. getting about there. I know we're jumping a little ahead by focusing on the strings, but we're in that chorus, we might as well. So the strings in the first half of the chorus seem a little low now, but then they still get they reach a point where they're good, and then they still get just a little bit loud there near the end. So let's go ahead and kind of focus on that for just a second. Okay, and then we'll try going a little bit further down there at the end. Very nice. Okay, so then if we check out the other choruses, we do have chorus 3 and chorus 4, chorus 2 and chorus 3, which are backed right up against each other. We can assume that we're going to have a similar thing going on there. So about halfway through the chorus, we're going to want to take that down at least a decibel. And then it looks like maybe right around here, just based on visual, and we will check this for sure, we're going to want to go down a little further. Okay, so chorus 2 and chorus 3, let's take a listen here. Keep in mind we are still paying special attention to the harpsichord here, but also we might as well pay attention to that high strings. Make sure that it's all good to go there. Very nice. Yeah, I think we nailed the strings on there too. Even the French horn sounded really cool. I know they pop out a little bit more for those last two chords, and that seemed about perfect. Yep. Okay, so now we want to, we're good on pianos. We want to focus a little bit more on the orchestra throughout the rest of the song. We know those choruses are good already. So checking the orchestra in the intro, we got little bits in the verses, then there's a break, couple of breaks, and then the ending. Yeah. Okay. Ah, Cody's here. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. Glad to see you here. Yep, I did turn that high strings up quite a bit just there. So I did turn the strings down a little starting when that the little synth lead hits, so that the synth can be a little bit more of a focus there. But I think we're good there. All right, let's check out our verse in our first break. So we've definitely got a little bit of a balanced strike here. First off, the squeal at the end of the verse, which I was a little bit worried about, does feel a little bit like it leaps out of the speakers at you. So let's fix that. We were taking the other ones down 2 decibels, I think. And then I think here that some of this break needs to come down on the strings, but I would like to hear the da-da-da-da a little bit better. So let's take this part down and that part up. Cody says, "Holy Moses, the bass in the sections where everything else drops made me nasty face because it was super tasty." Yes, I love it. Absolutely. I'm going to take up the da-da-da-da just a little more. Okay, hearing it like that, I do think that the little harmonic thing that the guitars are doing there in measure 78 needs to come up a little, just because everything else drops out. The bass drops out, the strings drop out. Let's let the guitars jump ahead just a hair there. One more time, I want to hear that squeal. Might have been a little low, but it was close. Let's do a 1 decibel drop instead of 2. Okay, so we already know all that section is good. I want to jump back just real fast, because I've just remembered, too, that in the last episode, we turned all the squeals in the intro down, and I was worried that they hadn't been turned down far enough. Let's come back and pay special attention to that. Yeah, I think all of them but the first one were good. The first one still seemed a little too loud, but all the rest of them seemed okay. Let's go down just a little further with the first one. Yeah, we'll cut that in half, I think. Nice, yes. All right, jumping up to the break. Has some more squeals plus some more orchestra stuff in it. To give both of them some mind. I think the squeals were okay. The orchestra seemed loud. Especially because we've got that synth thing happening there again, too. So I think the orchestra can definitely stand to kind of get out of the way to let that synth thing be kind of the main keyboard thing that's happening. Now, the very first couple of hits, though, where we're kind of like emphasizing a couple of pieces of what James is playing mostly by himself, those can go up, I think. Yep, pretty happy with that. I think I am going to let this little thing right here maybe come back up a little more. Little run at the end. Da, 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 da. Oh, there we go. Okay, and we had that little squeal there in the guitars again. What did we turn that down? Just 1 dB last time. Just a tiny little thing here. It's just literally, it's this last beat. We'll see if 1 dB works like it did last time. That so much. Oh gosh. Okay. Also hearing it just there, I think the James's little right at the end might be a little louder than everybody else's stuff, but just a little. There we go. Yeah, the limiter kind of wreaks havoc on that stuff, being that everything else drops out and it's just 1 or 2 things. It's like popping certain things way higher up in the volume. Okay, we already know the chorus is good strings wise, so we need to jump out to the ending. Here we go. Turn that down a bit. Yeah, I'm good with all that. Awesome. Okay, so that does it for our orchestras. By the way, just in case anybody watching now wasn't in here earlier, this episode is unfortunately going to be a little bit short. I got a student at 6:30 that I'll have to get off a couple of minutes before 6:30. But I wanted to go ahead and do at least a little bit today so we can get this thing as close to done as possible. Also didn't know that today was going to end up being such a sad day in rock and metal history. So that's kind of a momentous occasion. I can't imagine anybody watching this doesn't already know, but just in case you didn't, today the late, great Ozzy Osbourne passed away fairly unexpectedly, at least for my part. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I know he's been battling Parkinson's, but still didn't expect him to go quite so soon after that farewell concert, too. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so moving into the Bandersnatch lead, which is the synth going on. I think for the most part this is okay as is, but we definitely want to check it, especially in these sections where it's got like kind of like an actual lead thing rather than just like beefing up the guitars. So let's go ahead and check it each place it's playing. All good with that stuff. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Cody. Exactly. I mean, it just blew my mind, you know? Eli messaged a text chat earlier with Justin and I with a news article about it, just saying, is this real? Because naturally, you see something like that, you're like, yeah, right, sure. But then more and more news articles started popping up, and it had been like maybe 10 minutes or something. I mean, the article was brand new when Eli caught it. So just wild. Okay, so I definitely wanted that part louder. I pushed it up where I think it's good, and then we want it to kind of go back down and get out of the way again when that lead starts. That lead is still a little bit hard to make out. Let's listen again, and I want to determine. I don't think turning the lead up is going to help, so instead I want to focus my attention on what else is too loud that's taking up the space where the lead should be. Probably rhythm guitars. What jumps out as being particularly loud to me right there is the rhythm guitars and the bass, but I don't think turning the bass down is going to help. The bass probably isn't taking up the frequencies that the lead guitar would be. So let's try taking the rhythm guitars down just a little bit in that section. If it'll let me get the number I want. Give me 6.5. There we go. That definitely helped. I think the strings might be taking up a little bit too much space too. But we are on the right track for sure. There we go. Oh, whoops. We accidentally created a track envelope on the low strings too. We don't need. Okay, let's take the strings down 2 decibels, I think, in that section and see if that does us. Nice. That takes care of our lead, too. Let's jump up to the next spot where there's synth. That's actually down. I was about to say, yeah, that was fine. It's actually 2 decibels quieter than it was at all the other points we heard this. Let's put it back where it was and just make sure that it's not too loud now. I think I like it at that louder volume. Okay, and then over here in break 2, we have that lead from the beginning again, which we pushed up last time. We pushed it up to 2, so it's probably what we need to do this time too. Let's go ahead and push it up, see what we think. Nice, I like it. And then here we are at the ending. All good. Yep. Okay. So that takes care of our synth and our lead guitar. So now we need to turn vocals back on. Went the wrong direction there. There we go. Lead vocals, background vocals. And we can pay special attention to all of that. So let's take a look at our first verse here. We've got both Majennica and I singing, never at the same time, but a pretty wild back and forth. So we're paying special attention to both her voice and my voice, listening for words that are too loud or too quiet. For the most part, this is like drums, bass, and vocals. So this should be a little bit interesting. We usually end up needing envelopes, though, so let's just go ahead and create them, and we'll see what we need.
Purpose, always a purpose. We don't know what it is, but we can know what it is. Stumbling, blindly stumbling along. Hope that we won't be wrong. Find the place we belong. Shaped more by the worst of our feelings. Propelled ahead by the way we become. The experience of bad situations shapes reactions for years to come.
Okay, so a couple of things. I think for the most part it was pretty good. Don't we have James' background vocals here too? Yeah, I thought so. I don't think I heard those. We're going to need to turn those up. I think the word purpose, the very first thing that happens, is just a hair quiet. We'll try turning it up 1 decibel and see if that's enough. I think the last word Majennica says is a little loud. I better see what this text is. Okay. I know Savannah was having some health issues today, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't something that I needed to address immediately. Okay. Take a listen here again. Oh, right. We need to turn James up. I don't think I heard him at all. Let's go up a couple of decibels there. And come to think of it, that creates a redundancy in his track envelopes that we can go ahead and knock out. There we go. Nice and easy.
Purpose, always a purpose. We don't know what it is, but we can know what it is. Stumbling, blindly stumbling along. Hope that we won't be wrong. Find the place we belong.
couple of notes. I think we're really, really close. I think this last thing that Majennica said is generally kind of quiet. I think we turned down the word come a little too much. I still didn't hear James say purpose. I heard the stumbling. Didn't hear purpose. Okay, which again creates a redundancy in the track envelope. There we go.
Purpose, always a purpose. We don't know what it is, and we can know what it is. Stumbling, blindly stumbling along. Hope that we won't be wrong. Find the place we belong. Shaped more by the worst of our feelings. Repelled ahead by the way we become. The experience of bad situations shapes reactions for years to come.
Okay, yep. I'm going to take this back down half a decibel. Oh, come on. Give me 5. The last word still seemed just a hair quiet.
The experience of bad situations shapes reactions for years to come.
Okay, yep, good with all that. I heard James both times there. Let's go ahead and do the second verse. I want to come back to the choruses. Make Majennica sound like Ozzy for this song. Yes. Somebody AI our vocals into Ozzy.
Future, a better future. Determination within. Understanding begins. Running towards this new time. We need the help to stay strong. All these concerns will be gone. Adversity is a spark for wisdom. We emerge as who we need to be. Though the reasoning is still unsure, pieces set in place perfectly.
Okay, yep, pretty close again. I want to hear James a little better. Again, I kind of heard him say running. I didn't hear him say future. I wonder if the AI program has an Ozzy option. I hope so. Because that would be pretty hilarious. Okay, I don't think I want to hear... I turned James up 2 decibels, but I don't think I want to hear running 2 decibels louder. Let's try turning running up 1 and future up 2. This little bit that's visibly louder on my channel was actually a bit louder. So let's take that down a decibel. I feel like there was something else I've forgotten. We'll listen again.
Future, a better future. Determination within. Understanding begins. Running towards this new time. We need the help to stay strong. All these concerns will be gone. Adversity is a spark for wisdom. We emerge as who we need to be. Though the reasoning is still unsure, pieces set in place perfectly.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty good with that, I think. I'm debating turning the bigger chunk of Majennica and me down just a hair more. I think pieces set in place perfectly seemed okay. Let's just try it. And I want to go like half a decibel. I don't want to do a big change because I was a little on the fence about whether it needed anything at all. So that's probably an indication that it's either fine or we don't need to change it by much. Okay. I still didn't hear James say future. Definitely heard the running.
Future, a better.
I still didn't hear it. I know it's there. I see it. Come on, computer. Give me 6.5. There we go.
Future, a better future. Determination within.
Yep, I'm good with that. Okay, so let's move into the chorus vocals. We got 3 choruses, and then we're good to go on this one. Hopefully we can get it done, because I probably only got a little more than 10 minutes before I need to go for a student. Okay. So as far as lead vocals, mostly me in the chorus. Majennica has a little section she sings in unison with me at the end of the first chorus, but a lot of this chorus is in background vocals. Okay, so lead vocals were definitely quiet. I feel like the background vocals were pretty good. But the lead vocals were definitely quiet. Let's go up 1.5 decibels. And there's 2 sets of tracks here because it was hard to breathe. So between like the 2 halves of the chorus, the second half is just on a totally different track. So that I could breathe. Okay, yeah, we're pretty close there. I think maybe Majenica's vocal ought to come up just a hair when she doubles that last line. The background vocals might need to come down just a hair. So I feel like we're pushing a compressor. I don't necessarily want to take the lead vocals up too much more because I feel like we're pushing a compressor. I want to take this part up just a little. Same thing on that, on the other set of vocal tracks, this phrase right here. Just a hair more. And I think I'm going to try turning the background vocals down 0.5 decibel too, so that we're getting everything. We may just have to break down and turn everything else going on in the chorus down a little bit if we are pushing on a compressor. Then we need to be turning down instead of up. That last line, I think the balance is right. Now you can clearly hear that Majennica starts singing that part also. I'm actually, now that we've turned those background vocals down, I don't actually think that those 2 little phrases I turned up are necessary. This chorus is so freaking catchy, it's stuck in your head for the rest of your life. Remember this song from Psycho Stick? Yes! Oh yes, that Psycho Stick song that's talking about being freaking catchy. Yeah. I had forgotten about that, but thank you for the reminder. That's great. Okay, yep, good with that. Let's check the other 2 choruses. Okay, so we know my vocals need to come up a little bit. We turn them up 1.5 decibels. The other set of tracks should still be there from before. I often wake up with the Silver Lining chorus stuck in my head. Yeah. I love a lot of the choruses on this album. Choruses are a big thing for me where, I want it to be catchy and sing-alongable, if you will, since a lot of the rest of our songs tend to be super weird. So the chorus, at least, ought to be nice and catchy. And I think we did a good job with most of them on this album, but this one might be my favorite chorus on the album. Particularly what we're about to do here. Since we had two choruses backed up against each other, I'm thinking about what do we do to make the second chorus different so that it's not just the same thing. Yeah, Cody's going to wake up to the bass part stuck in his head. Yeah, absolutely. And the answer then was to have Majennica do kind of a counterpoint lead vocal with some harmonies as well. And that makes the second, when we go back and do the chorus again right in a row, a special. So we need to pay attention to that for sure. Okay, so we definitely got some work to do, particularly with Majennica's counterpoint vocal there, but I think everything else was pretty okay. Like the chorus 2, which is almost normal, I think was pretty much fine. I think the word we, right in the middle of the chorus, was a little loud, and I did actually wonder that in the first chorus, so this has pretty much confirmed that. I think this we is a little too loud, which means we should probably go back to the chorus 1 and fix that too. Yep, that worked. Let's just go ahead and take that down a couple decibels here in the first chorus as well. Make sure that pops up in the right spot. There we go. Okay, and then coming back to the chorus, we definitely need to do some work with Majennica's vocals. There were a couple of things that were weird. I know for sure that the final phrase seemed a little loud. Okay, that might have been a little bit too far to take it down. Another thing that I'm thinking is that the word, once her and I are both holding that word, it needs to kind of start going away, I think. It stays in focus for too long. The other instruments are doing cool stuff, and meanwhile we're still paying attention to in the vocals. So let's start those on kind of a fade out so that they get out of the way of other stuff going on. So how much did I turn her down? Oh, that was a pretty hefty. That was what, a 5.5 reduction? And of course it won't give me 10.5. Come on now. We left the other one behind, but I think that'll be okay. And now that I think about it, I did a whole complicated thing here. That's unnecessary. This is the final vocal of the song. Okay, yeah, that was really close. I feel like my vocals decayed a lot faster than hers. they didn't, but it definitely felt that way. So maybe let's not go on quite such a reduction for mine. Yes, we've got a new name there. Is it like the final touch to this song? Sounds like it's either ideally recorded from the beginning or most of the hard work is already done. Yes, you are correct kind of in both counts. Very well recorded. Again, this is totally acoustic drums. This is all real instruments here, but we are all also at the end of a bunch of very hard work. Yes. So most of the mixing work is done. I think that was pretty close there. Thank you for the question. Hope you're doing good. There we go. Okay, so let's back up because I know that a lot more of these counterpoint vocals that Majennica is doing here needed work. But I think we've got that ending right on.
There's a purpose within this fight. Deny the wrong and find the light. We pray. There's a silver lining here.
Okay, that one's close. I think maybe most of her saying deny the wrong and find the light needs to come up, but not by much. I think we're going to want her high notes, like in this example, when she's saying the word light, to kind of do what we did on the end there. I think it should kind of start getting out of the way and then come back up when she starts saying other stuff. So over the course of this high note right here, want her vocals to kind of start coming down, and then they'll jump back up just in time for her to say the rest of that phrase.
Deny the wrong and find the light. We pray. There's a silver lining here.
Okay, that was really close. I misjudged where the end of the word light was. But other than that, yeah. Okay, I would like her vocal on the rest of that phrase to come up just a little. And I especially want to hear more of when she says the phrase "we pray," which is this little bit right here. So she says it a little later than I do. And I want that to come out because I feel like that's a really neat part. Okay, yes, again, I misjudged where the end of the phrase "we pray" was. But other than that, that was exactly what I was thinking. Okay, that should be right. Okay, yes, we're really close. Regrettably, I'm gonna have to go. I teach music lessons here where I am, and I've got a student here at 6:30, and I got 2 minutes until the lesson starts. So yeah, I was in the zone. We're really close to finish with this song. I was hoping we'd finish it, but we didn't quite get there. And also, we got a lot of viewers. So if you're a new viewer here, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you like what you hear, enjoy what you're seeing. Hey, consider subscribing if you're not already. That'd be pretty awesome. We are mixing an album from the band AfterWinter. This is the second album called Boundless. This is track 8 that we're almost done with. So we've still got some more songs to go. So plenty more episodes, and we would definitely greatly appreciate if you come out and hang out with us some more. I love having people in the chat to talk to while we're working. Yes, Cody, have a good night. You too, man. All right, guys, let's go ahead and close her out. Again, I wish we didn't have to, but I've got some students here. So, regardless of whether you're watching right now, whether you were watching before, or whether you're watching this in the future when it's not live, I and everybody in AfterWinter appreciates every second of time that you spend checking this stuff out. Whether you're hanging out here in the live streams, or whether you're listening to the music, whether you're streaming it, or whether you've bought a CD, either way, we couldn't possibly appreciate you more. We really thank you guys a lot for checking the stuff out and supporting it. All right, guys, we will be back streaming hopefully on Thursday, probably in the afternoon. We're in Ohio here, so if you're not in Ohio, it's wherever the time zones work out. So we should be streaming probably right around 1 or maybe a little earlier on Thursday here in Ohio time, 1 o'clock, where we will definitely be finishing this song up, and we will get started on song number 9. All right. Thank you guys one more time, and we'll catch you later.